Climate changed. People moved. That was the short explanation repeated in history lessons. But the truth of why these cities were abandoned was written in layers of heat, water, and quiet decisions that accumulated until leaving felt inevitable. At first, the changes were subtle. Summers stretched longer, pressing warm air into narrow streets that had once trapped only noise. Nights no longer cooled the buildings. Air conditioners roared without rest, and the electrical grid trembled under the strain. Each year brought a new record temperature, and each record was treated as a temporary inconvenience rather than a warning. Life continued. Restaurants filled, trains ran. People adapted in small ways, convinced the city would always absorb the shock. Then the storms grew stronger. Coastal districts flooded with a regularity that erased the idea of rare disasters. Water surged into subways and basements, corroding the systems hidden beneath daily life. Repairs became constant and expensive. Insurance companies raised their rates, then withdrew entirely from the most vulnerable neighborhoods. Property values slipped. Investors hesitated. What had once felt permanent began to look fragile. Heat waves followed, turning ordinary afternoons into medical emergencies. Outdoor work slowed to a crawl. Hospitals filled with patients struggling to breathe in thick, overheated air. Rolling blackouts darkened entire districts as power grids failed under relentless demand. Elevators stalled. Traffic lights died. In high-rise apartments, families opened windows to a wind that offered no relief. Those who could afford to leave did so quietly. They moved toward cooler regions in newly planned cities built with climate in mind. Their departure hollowed the urban core. Schools closed as enrollment fell. Small businesses shuttered. Streets that once pulsed with conversation grew strangely echoing at dusk. For those who remained, daily life became a negotiation with instability. Food prices rose as transportation routes were disrupted by extreme weather. Public services shrank. Emergency response times lengthened. The final migration came when essential systems began to fail. Hospitals consolidated into distant regions. Government programs offered incentives to relocate. Highways filled with vehicles carrying compressed lives. Photographs boxed beside clothing. Furniture abandoned for lack of space. The cities did not empty overnight. They exhaled slowly, building by building, block by block. Nature entered patiently. Weeds split asphalt. Vines climbed glass facades. Birds nested in traffic lights, and small animals explored the cool shelter of subway stations. Rain collected in neglected streets, forming shallow mirrors that reflected empty towers. The cities became hybrid landscapes where architecture and ecosystem intertwined. New cities rose elsewhere, shaped by what had been learned. They were built higher, cooler, and more flexible, designed to coexist with a changing climate rather than resist it blindly. Yet the abandoned metropolises retained a quiet gravity. These cities were not erased. They were transformed into witnesses. In their empty windows and overgrown avenues lay the story of a turning point in human history. Climate changed. People moved. And what remained behind was a vast, quiet testament to adaptation, loss, and the enduring ability of the world to reshape itself around our footprints. This is the end. Our team loves it when you subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for listening.